Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. In this video, I want to talk to you about the Marchman Act, guardianship, and how does that work if your loved one has been arrested and they're in the county jail. So let me paint this picture for you. We have a client. His parents have guardianship over him. He got arrested for an incident that happened between him and another individual, and he's been sitting in the county jail for about 3 weeks. We filed the Marchman Act. Why? Well, because we want to get maximum control over him. Now we have, instead of one court to go back and talk to a judge about the case, we have two judges we can go back to, which gives the family a lot of control. But the issue is, well, he's in the county jail. So how does that work? Will the Marchman Act, or even for that matter, the guardianship, trump the fact that he's in the county jail? So let's talk about that, because in other videos I've talked to you about the fact that when you get Baker Acted, you become a ward of the state. Well, when you are arrested and incarcerated, even if the case is not over, if you are sitting in custody, you have, for all intents and purposes, also become a ward of the state, even in the criminal system, right? Your liberty has been taken away from you. And so, yeah, the state's power, whether it's the Baker Act or a criminal case, the state's power is absolute, okay? That means even if you get a Marchman Act or a guardianship, the state's right to detain and continue to detain your loved one overrules, trumps the guardianship and the Marchman Act. Now, would having those things help you? Yeah, potentially, because at least you can go into the criminal court and say, look, Judge, my loved one should be released while this case is pending because we have guardianship over him and he's going to go into treatment. Or another judge has given us a Marchman Act and he's going to go into treatment. But the bottom line is that the state's power is absolute. Always, always, always. Now, in this particular instance, there's a bond, meaning that if we give the jail a certain amount of money, they will agree to release him. And so what we're going to do is, now we have this Marchman Act court order in place, we're going to post the bond so he can get out. But he's not going to get out and just sort of walk the streets and be free to go about his business, because there's a Marchman Act court order in place, and that order says that upon his release from the county jail, he's going to a facility, okay? So sometimes having somebody in custody actually helps us, because I don't have to go running around looking for them. I know they're safe for the most part. They shouldn't have access to any drugs for the most part, although I'm sorry to say, after 30 years in the criminal justice system, that's not always true. But at least I know where he is, and now we can basically plan for his release and get him to a place of safety. And so I want to share that with you, because sometimes these happen. And I've said to you in the past, one of the reasons you need to hire a specialist who actually knows what they're doing with these cases is because with our office, right, this is what we do, right? So we work within Marchman's, guardianships, Baker Acts. Oh, by the way, I was a prosecutor for 5 years. I did defense work for 10 or 15, I think it was. So we understand the criminal justice system too. And all of these things, they all work together. And so when you're choosing a lawyer to work with, you have to work with a lawyer who specializes in this stuff. And it sort of gets my goat when I hear, PI lawyers and divorce lawyers dabbling in this stuff, and then they cock up the case. So that's my 2 cents. If your loved one is in jail, I can get him into treatment with a Marchman Act or guardianship. But frankly, if they've already been sentenced to the state penitentiary, all bets are off. The state has taken them away for X amount of years, and the key's been thrown away. Nothing I can do. But if they're sitting in the county jail, then yes. But remember, the state's power is always, always, always absolute. Anyway, with that said, thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.